Welcome into the latest Inside LAFC podcast. All is well in the kingdom. I feel like I'm saying that every week, but it's true as LAFC coming off the weekend victory over the Colorado Rapids, a really good team, and we get ready for the Clásico Angelino, El Tráfico, whatever you call it, and then another game on Sunday. I am Max Bretos. Joining me is Stephen Beitashour. How are we doing, Beta?
I'm doing well. Good to see you, Max. How are you?
I'm all right, man. We are recording this a little bit after I know the USA have been knocked out of Copa America. USA and Mexico out, Panama and Canada in. Who would have thought that?
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Not me.
Crazy times.
Crazy times. So let's put that aside.
Yeah.
Although we're all enjoying the soccer. I mean, I got to chat to the guys. Everyone's excited about watching Euros and Copa America, and that will continue here for a couple more weeks. And in the meantime, during this stretch where MLS is losing its players, and it should be mentioned that Kike Oliveira getting on the field for Uruguay. Great news for this LAFC side as they continue to put stuff into the coffers, that this team is doing everything well. But I want to talk a little bit about Colorado. This LAFC team continue to prove that they are an elite squad. They improved to 9-0-2 at home. Was it 9-game unbeaten streak? This is truly a fortress. I mean, we know the BMO Stadium can be a very tough place for opponents, but it is starting to, it almost feels hopeless for teams that come in here. And they have to be scared at the prospect when they look at their schedule and see at BMO Stadium.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good result over the weekend, at BMO Stadium. Colorado was on a bit of a roll. The last week they had 3 games, got all 9 points, only gave up 1 goal against, and then they go into LAFC home in front of the 32-52, in front of a flying LAFC team, and they got 3 goals handed to them. So a little bit of a wake up call again for the Rapids, but they've been doing well this year. But man, you got to give credit to LAFC. They are still flying on all cylinders and just still crushing it at home. So really cool to see.
But that's what I was saying about the Rapids. They came in with confidence. They came in, they played okay, and yet, I mean, they kept it close for a bit, but eventually it's so hard to keep track of playing this LAFC team. We saw a different story, obviously, with the San Jose Earthquakes. We saw going further back, FC Dallas played such a defensive approach, hoping to stay scoreless, and LAFC did get a goal there. Then they get the 6 against San Jose, and then a Colorado Rapid team that came into that game in 4th in the West tried, and it's just to close the gap. There's no places to do it. This is really impressive. I know we've had some good LAFC teams going back to 2019, the championship 2022, but we might get to a point where this team has to be considered amongst those two, and then if they keep going this way, maybe they just pull ahead. I don't know.
If they continue like this, I think they will be pulling ahead. Obviously, it's always sad when you're part of the team and another team comes in and does better than you. But that's the black and gold standard right there. They don't settle. They're always trying to win. They're always trying to improve. So they are on fire right now, and they hope to continue that.
Didn't mention at the top, special guest Kai Kamara will be joining us here on the podcast, and we will talk to him because he's starting games, playing a big role. And we've had this conversation that when all hands are on deck and you have Kike Oliveira playing for Uruguay, who knows how far they go in the Copa America. Olivier Giroud, France have advanced in the Euros, so he will come soon. So the idea of everyone saying, how does this all fit in? And it's a good problem to have. But a quick thought about Kai Kamara and his participation. He obviously got goal 145, then he got goal 146. He was great again. I mean, I know he's not going to start ahead of Olivier Giroud, and his minutes are probably going to come down a bit, but he's still going to be a part of this team because he's able to provide an option scoring-wise. His back-to-goal play was great. He got these guys involved. And then defensively, clearing balls and all that, it's all involved. It's really great to see everyone putting their hand up, including guys that you would think would be on the periphery, but they don't want to just accept it like that.
I love the way he plays with the hold-up play and letting those wingers be inverted wingers and really playing off of him, the little combos, 1-2s. It actually really reminded me of our 2019 team, the way Diego Rossi, Carlos Vela are coming inside and getting a lot of goals. And that's what you see now with Bouanga, Boguš playing off of him. So it'll be interesting what Steve Cherundolo does, once everybody's back, because he's got some options. I'd imagine Kai comes off the bench, but he definitely has earned himself some minutes. But you definitely watching these games and you're pretty impressed. You have to give credit to Ante. He's done a heck of a job from the start, 2018-19. But watching these games, I'm getting glimpses of that 19 team, and you have to give Ante, the offensive coach for LAFC, you have to give him a lot of credit.
Let's talk about, because you played under Ante. What does he do that is obviously getting results for LAFC, specifically for the offensive players? He deals with all the players as well. But what do you think he brings to the table that's so unique that gets the most out of these guys?
Nowadays, a lot of teams have specific coaches for either the coach, the offensive team, the defenders. Obviously, there's the goalie coach. But Ante is specifically focusing with the attackers. Obviously, he can coach everybody, but the midfielders, attackers, really his expertise, and he does a fantastic job. When I was there 2 years, I was so fascinated in the detail this guy is coaching with, and some of the drills, the exercises, they all just make sense. You see it, right? Sometimes you have coaches that put a training together and you don't see it into the game. Like, how is this realistic? Man, the drills Ante was putting together was so realistic. Like, yeah, I see this. This is why it's going to help you in the game. And it's so specific, so much attention to detail. And now you just see it continuing year after year, whether it's the same players, different players. So you have to give Ante some serious credit there.
I do. I mean, and everyone's worried. Like, one moment of one of these coach openings, look at Ante. I know he's big. He does the interviews, and there's a lot of coach openings now. St. Louis just made a change. Dallas made a change. San Jose's made a change. It's a long list. So, Ante Razov has to be at the top of these lists. But I know he's very comfortable here. It's a good gig. But you always want to be the head man. You want to be the head man at some point.
Look, some people might not want to be. He might just be so comfortable and loves it here and wants to focus on a smaller group. Head coach, it's, you got the big picture, right? You have a lot on your plate. So maybe he does enjoy this. But I'm surprised he hasn't been poached. So I wonder if the calls come in and he's turning down, because he is a heck of a coach.
He would miss dining in Manhattan Beach, where I see him from time to time when I'm riding my bicycle.
Yeah.
So he's also involved with the offensive players, which includes Mateusz Boguš, who had a hat trick. And we spoke to him after the game. This is his first professional hat trick, so it's a big deal. And yeah, you see the header, or at least if you're listening to the podcast, you don't, but it says Mati MVP. And everyone's like, wait a minute, I'm talking about team MVP, which is Denis Bouanga's to lose, you would imagine. Although Hugo Lloris, we will talk about him too. Certainly he's putting his hand up with what he's done defensively. But Mati MVP, I'm starting this campaign, and I'm sure no one would be happier than Denis Bouanga, who had the assist for him on the first goal. 2 goals, San Jose, 5 goals in total now. He has 12, which is 4th in MLS, 1 behind Bouanga, who's 3rd. Think about all the different ways he scores goals too. Is this valid? Do we have some credence with the 2 words Mati MVP for LAFC?
I think he has a little bit of a lead on Bouanga. That's just my opinion. I know everyone's going to say, well, Bouanga has 13 goals, 8 assists. I don't know if Boguš has any assists. He might have 1, but 12 goals, neck and neck in the goals. But for me, the way that Boguš has scored, the moments that he has scored, I feel like he has won a few games for LAFC, where Bouanga, yes, he gets so many chances, he scores his goals, and it's not fair to say, well, he was so good last year, you kind of expect it this year. With Boguš, we don't expect it. It's always a nice surprise. So I'm gonna go with Boguš, but look, Bouanga, come on, man. This guy is unreal. It's nothing against Bouanga.
I don't think Boguš is going to stop. And, you said free kick goals, left foot, right foot, playing as the false 9, playing as a winger, playing as a midfielder. I guess in this game here, and we spoke to Steve Cherundolo, what was impressive is that he was scoring goals from outside the box. He scored all 3 3 goals inside the area, some 6 yards out, just to show how dangerous. So he's certainly in the zone and playing exceptionally well. One big question, I guess, about him is people are now, for a topic we discussed, who moves to the bench when Olivier Giroud? Giroud is going to start. I can tell you this: it's not going to be Boguš. They're going to have to find a way to keep him on the wing. I don't know what that means for Kiko Oliveira. I don't know what it means for the midfield. But one guy who's not moving to the bench is Mati.
For sure. I don't know who they're going to put on that bench, but it's definitely not Boguš. It's definitely not Bouanga. Hey, maybe it takes a little bit of time for Olivier to come in and kind of get bearings together. So maybe that gives the other guys a little bit more time. But everyone's playing so well, and that's what you love. That's how you win Supporter Shield. That's how you win the league. That's how you win MLS Cup. When you have everybody firing all cylinders, you have depth, you can rotate, keep guys fresh. So it's a good problem for Steve to have, but he's going to have some tough decisions as well.
There's no problems, man. Everyone's on board. They're happy. Yeah. They enjoy each other's company, which I don't know if we were there yet, but everything is falling into place. Big week. And Mati, by the way, was a real big cheerleader after the Rapids game, telling let's take care of business against the Galaxy, 4th of July, which we'll talk about in a moment. But I wanted to acknowledge the MLS All-Stars, the initial All-Stars that were announced for the All-Star game that will happen later here in July in Columbus, Ohio. No surprise, Denis Bouanga. Hugo Lloris, a little bit of a surprise because he really played like an All-Star the last 6 weeks. He wouldn't have been an All-Star, let's say, in May. He is now. I don't think anyone can take that away. I think he's up to 8 clean sheets. He's been tremendous. 2 deserving guys, but Manny Boguš not on there. And I want to talk to you, Beta, about they're not going to obviously have 5 LAFC players. I would imagine they'll have more than 2. So Bouanga and Lloris are in. I could make a case for Mati. I think Mati has to be in there. We could make a case for Tillman, who's played every game and put some nice stuff. And I would put Aaron Long in there. I mean, how do you see because look, there's a certain amount of players. I mean, Ryan Hollingshead made it last year. He's not going to make it. But LAFC have a claim to multiple spots.
Yeah, I would like to see Boguš get in there for sure. And then the other ones, it's a good argument. It's a good argument.
I think you'll get the 3.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll see if there's a 4th. But I think you'll definitely get the 3.
As a defender, though, I know it's very difficult to get into those All-Star games. You have to have a lot of goals or a lot of assists. And if Aaron Long, who I think has been playing incredibly well, if he doesn't have a lot of goals and assists, it's tough to see for other fans not watching LAFC games, right? And that's how the fan vote gets accumulated. So if he doesn't have a lot of votes, then it's just tough. It's tough. Maybe the coach's decision, maybe it's Don Garber's decision to put him in. But yeah, man, these guys are playing well. I'm sure they like the bonus that comes with it. But at the end of the day, they won't be too upset.
Beta, how many All-Stars did you get to make? You're deserving to be an All-Star.
I had 1, but there was some controversy with 2 others, so we won't bring that up.
But it's a good weekend for you. You get to hobnob a little bit. You get a little walk around money.
Yeah, it was fun. It was 2012 with the San Jose Earthquakes, my 3rd year in the league, and it was the year that we won the league, Supporter Shield champions. We had Wando, Ramiro Corrales, Justin Morrow, and myself. And I heard Marvin Chavez was picked as well, like the fan votes. But the league took him out. And then I heard about this. The league taking you out, huh? And so I got a glimpse of that in 2019 when I got fan voted in, but the league took me out. So, yeah.
Well,
What can you do?
There's not much you can do, and it's a little bit convoluted about how this All-Star thing does. But the good news, Beta, the fans voted you in.
Yes. I think we had 5. But they had to take 1 off. So they took me off. And it was Bella, obviously. Rossi, obviously. It was, I think, Mark Anthony Kay was the other one, obviously. Like, we just had so many obviously's. And I don't remember if
It was a good team.
Was the other one. Yeah. Oh, no, Walker. Walker was the other one.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you could have put in probably 8 guys from that team. But, the league called, said, yeah, you can't have 5 people. And so they took them off. All right, cool. Thanks.
There's 29 teams in the league. They want to spread it out a little bit, so that's
Yeah.
going to make it hard for anyone to get 3 or 4. And that's two. But you were talking about 2019 and 2012. The league was a lot smaller, certainly.
Yeah.
So we shall see. Thursday night, 4th of July at the venerable Rose Bowl. It is Los Angeles bragging rights on the line. Galaxy versus LAFC. Galaxy technically hosting this game. This is part of the time where we have 3 Clásicos, Tráficos, and they have this is going to be going away soon with the arrival of San Diego, so it'll be back to 2 games. So enjoy the third one. Get out. If you're listening to this before the game, get out and enjoy the 4th of July at the Rose Bowl, the fireworks, the drive up, the drive back. It's also wonderful. And LAFC and Galaxy has pushed up. I mean, when you think of the rivalries, I don't want to be disrespectful, and for the history that Portland, Seattle has, I'd still put that there. LAFC Galaxy at some point will move ahead of it because it's 2 teams in the same city, and we have just seen the growth of it year to year. And now you have this game, and it's always been where LAFC was doing great, and the Galaxy needed that LAFC game to kind of get over the hump. This year, they're 1st and 2nd in the West, tied on points, both just purring along. And I don't know if we can argue if it's not the biggest matchup, but I would put it there just because, and it's just because the Galaxy are playing. And Beta, when you played the Galaxy, we remember those early years. It was a moment for them to pick up their season because LAFC was doing well and the Galaxy were always struggling, but they've never been like this.
It's not a knock on them, but that's just the facts. You know, in the past, these games were always heated. Obviously, you have 2 teams in LA and you don't like each other, but it's never been 1 versus 2. And so this is really cool. This feels like La Liga, Barca, Madrid, like, man, the 2 top dogs playing each other. They're 1 and 2 in the standings. And it's more than just the city bragging rights. Now it's league bragging rights. Like, yeah, we are at the top of the shield. We're the top team. And so it's going to be a great atmosphere. I'm sad I won't be there, but hopefully everyone's going to come out and just enjoy the fun, man. These games, I was in San Jose this past weekend watching the Galaxy San Jose Earthquakes game, and that was amazing. Again, 45, 50,000 fans, fireworks show afterwards. Unfortunately for the Quakes, it wasn't a close matchup. It was a 3-0 defeat for the Quakes, but those are just the fun games. As a player, I loved once a year for the Quakes, we'd play in Stanford Stadium. And I loved those games. And it was usually against the Galaxy, El Clásico, 2 of the oldest teams. And, sometimes it's a first place versus a bottom feeder. But when you have 1 versus 2, like you're about to have, that's a player's dream.
You participated in probably the biggest game prior, the 2019 conference semifinal where Vela and Zlatan. You had the 2022 game too, which may be a rung below, though that was a good Galaxy team. This is 1st and 2nd. What was it like for this game, knowing that you played the Rose Bowl, but just preparing for the Galaxy week? What was different as a player for LAFC knowing this game? What was it? How did it change in training? How did it change when you were at home thinking about the game? Everything.
First off, you have a lot more media attention. So if you try not to focus on who you're playing and just worry about training, the media will remind you every day with a million questions. So how do you feel? How are you playing the Galaxy? How do you feel? So that's first thing. But it's just the anticipation, right? Training feels a little bit more tense. The coaches feel a little bit more stressed, and you feel that, and it's a big game, big atmosphere. It's going to be packed. Back then it was all about national television and being watched by hundreds of thousands of people, maybe millions of people, and now it's Apple TV, but everyone's going to be watching. So it's going to be fun. It's exciting. It's games that as a kid you dream about, right? And finally the moment's here. You get to play in it, and you just want to perform well. That was the main thing. You want to play well. You don't want to make mistakes. You don't want to embarrass yourself or your team or cost your team. So guys will be a little edgy, a little nervous at first, but I think roughly around 20, 30 minutes in, everyone kind of, that second win, they're like, okay, all right, it's just a game. Let's play.
LAFC is playing great, but just a reminder to all the black and gold supporters, I mean, maybe we don't watch a lot of the Galaxy games. I've been keeping an eye on them. They have been really good, winning away. I mean, they won at San Jose. They won at Real Salt Lake. Their system is working, how they stretch the field. It's going to be complicated. And in the regular season, even though LAFC won the first game at home, regular season, the Galaxy have had the upper hand by and large. But I'm just excited because every time we have a big game like this, it changes the rivalry. It builds it up, adds another layer, and this will certainly to be there and capture the attention of the city where the local news and everyone's kind of focused in, because right now in LA, you have the Dodgers, obviously the Lakers season's long back, football season hasn't started, but you have this fixture, which it feeds the beast in so many ways. So it's hopefully it lives up to it. Hopefully LAFC get the result, but I look at the West and you have those three teams, LAFC, Galaxy, and Real Salt Lake, have been very good. Then there's a drop-off. And the team that was in fourth, LAFC just beat. The team that's in fifth, they're going to play. We'll talk about the Dynamo. But it's, to me, unless I don't think anything crazy in the postseason, I know that's a long ways away. To me, the team that represents the West in MLS Cup will be either the LA teams or Real Salt Lake. I just don't see anyone else kind of closing in, especially when you keep into consideration that LAFC are adding a player. Galaxy will probably add a player. They're very serious about this stretch run, I'm sure.
I've watched a few of Galaxy's games, and I've been impressed. They have some quality players. They did, Will Kuntz, former LAFC guy, he did a good job bringing some quality players there. And Greg Vanny, who I played for, is a heck of a coach. That whole sports staff, who I know well, they've got the players bought in right now, and they're working hard. They have the talent. When you combine the two, you get seasons like this. So I am looking forward to that matchup with Galaxy and LAFC for sure.
We'll wrap it up here because it's a 2-game week again. And Thursday game, they have the Galaxy. And then it's a quick turnaround. Sunday, they got to be in Houston. And it's July. So Houston in July. I mean, right off the bat, when you look at the calendar, Beta, and you see Houston, July, what is the immediate reaction? Or August?
Yeah, it's not fun. Those are the games where it's not the first thing you're looking at. It's probably the second thing. When are we going to Florida? When are we going to Texas? I hope it's not in that June, July, August range, because it's miserable. Your jersey is just soaked. Probably weighs 5 pounds after 10 minutes of running around. Your socks are just, it's like you're running in a swamp. Your shoes are just filled with water. It's just not fun. It's not a pretty game. Guys are exhausted after 20 minutes. But you got to do it. You got to do it. Everyone's done it. You got to grind. And that's one where you go into the road game and you're like, all right, we're going to sit back a little bit more and we're just going to defend, and a 0-0 draw we'll take.
Well, it's tough, and they're playing well, and they've added a new player. They have a Ezequiel Ponce, who's like a Chicho Arango, big striker type that is going to come into it. And I just look at this week, it's a road game sort of against the Galaxy, and then it's a road game against Houston, and LAFC know they have to kind of get through this. The schedule makers weren't really kind to them. I mean, it's good that they have a game in LA so they can take the bus to the Rose Bowl. But you got to be leery here. As good as things are, you have 2 games where you can't have a bad week. You can't lose 2 games or maybe get a point out of 2, because all of a sudden you feel, it's a big step back. So this isn't, and the 2-day gap between games. So Thursday you play the game, Friday or Saturday you're off. You don't get any training. It's going to be difficult.
No, that was the worst. So you'll play Thursday and then the next game is Sunday, correct?
Yes.
So, you're not really regenning the next day. You're probably flying out, and then on Saturday while you're in Houston, you're probably doing, some sort of regen light training over there. It's not fun. Unfortunately, whoever made the schedule put that in place, of all places to go into Houston, and you kind of deal with it. Who knows? Maybe Steve Trundle rotates the lineup a little bit, gets some fresh legs out there. Their guys are playing well, so I'm sure he will rotate it a little bit. But yeah, those are just never fun games. So it's just how quickly can you get home, get in the ice bath, recover, and just get going again. It's just part of the schedule.
I imagine hearing you say that Sunday we'll see some guys get a chance that maybe didn't really start just by necessity. It's not that LAFC is going to wave the white flag. They intend on winning these games, but you can't sustain it. And you got to put all the eggs or most of the eggs in that Galaxy basket.
Yeah, you do. But I'm not saying every coach does this, but I've had coaches in the past that they look at the calendar and they break it up right into segments. And there's stretches like this that, like, hey, this 6-week window right here, we expect to win when, a draw isn't a bad thing right here. So this Houston game on the road, you're going to circle that as, okay, if we get a point, that's not bad. Galaxy, rival, you want the 3 points. I know it's technically Galaxy's hosting their home team, but come on, it's in LA. There's going to be so many fans from both teams. It's a 50-50 shot. This is the one you want, 3 points. But the Houston one, I'm telling you right now, I don't know how Steve Trundle is with this, but if they looked at that 6-week window and they marked a bunch of W's, this one will be like, hey, we'll take a tie right here. So it's just the nature of the business.
Yeah. Everyone thought that maybe take a little bit of a break for MLS during the Copa America. It's not. They've had a 2-game week, a 1-game week, a 2-game week. So they're squeezing, and LAFC's handled it. But we'll see how this week,
but this goes. This is the thing. You don't want it to catch up to you, and then all of a sudden the injuries come up. And that's the only reason I say rotate, because they're flying right now. You want to continue that. And, that's where I mentioned Gavin, their head of sports science. He does a great job of recommending these things to the coaches, and the coaches are pretty good about taking those recommendations. So we'll see. Just my 2 cents.
It's a big week. Thank you very much for your 2 cents. It's a big week. You know what else it is, Beta?
What is?
4th of July, man. Happy Independence
Day. Happy 4th of July. There we go.
Enjoy it. Be safe out there, but enjoy it. Come out to the game. Watch the fireworks safely. Have some nice fare with your family and friends. And I hope you do that too, Beta. So it's a very special week.
Thank you. Yes.
We will be back on Inside LAFC podcast. Kai Kamara will talk about setting that record, becoming second all-time MLS scorer, and how he fits on this LAFC team. It's Inside LAFC podcast. It rolls on after this. Inside LAFC podcast is presented by Freeway Insurance. Driving savings. We are back here on Inside LAFC podcast, welcoming back Kai Kamara, and it's never too late to reinforce this, but congratulations to you. That's got to feel good. I know you were pursuing this. What was it like heading home at night and just thinking? What was the things that you thought about? 146 goals and passing a guy like Landon Donovan.
No, it's a relief. It's a relief, and one that I'm happy it's gone, because then again, it's not everybody talking to you all the time. Say, hey, you're so close. So when are you going to get it? When are you going to get it? But the one thing I said, Max, that worked out just perfectly for my story, for my background, for my journey, was the fact that goal happened here at home in front of the home crowd. It could have happened anywhere. It could have happened on the road. It could have happened last year with a different team, but it never happened. I was saying, it's okay. It's going to come. It's going to take time. And like I said, when I scored in Austin, and people were like, yeah, how did you feel? I was like, nah, it's not that much of the goal, but much of us not dropping points over there. But I love the fact how my teammates were celebrating the goal more than I'm celebrating the goal. I think that's the best part.
That says a lot about this team, no? I mean, you've been here, a couple months, and it feels like you've been here for years. And even after the Colorado game, there's a clip of Denis and Tillman and you dancing along with the 32-52 jump from. I mean, it feels like is this different? The comfort level? You make it easy to be comfortable around.
Before, man. I've been feeding off of the energy from afar, man. I've been feeding off of this energy you guys had going on here, from stalking the Instagram and stalking just, most of the guys. I've followed them. And being on the All-Star game last year with Denis, that was, nice for me and connecting with him. But then coming in, just it's a welcoming locker room, and as long as you get on the page with everybody else where the club has been going and the direction that it's at, it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple, and which makes sense. How the recruiting process is about finding people that can blend into the locker room the right way. And that's my energy. That's my energy. I love the guys. I love the game. That's one. But the fact that when you're in a good environment, it's not hard, to rub off of each other.
And the club always says that, but you always kind of go, all right. I mean, because you need a player to fit a certain criteria, but B, they want someone who's going to fit into the clubhouse, and that's you to a T. So I mean, you're doing both. So it seems like they did their due diligence in finding you.
No, I'm lucky. I'm lucky to really be here. But yeah, I wish I was here 5 years ago, so I can be part of the bigger celebrations.
Yeah.
No, but
you might have more than 146.
That's me. I am not just playing, just on the field. There's things off the field that I take really important to me, and that's the chemistry. That's building family with people on the team, people off the team. Talk about the kitchen staff, making sure we're getting the right food. I talk to them all the time. Listen, we're not gonna do well if we're not eating well, and stuff like that. But it's really important. And so that's what this building is. This building it's something special. I've been on a bunch of teams around the league, and which I guess that's the blessing and the curse, because you learn so much, and then you know when something is good, and that's what it is around here.
Yeah, I think that's great for the supporters who tune in to hear that this really is a special place, and the players are happy, and that's going to make this team click, and it's going to make the product great, and all of that. Getting back to the record, and you said some really nice things about Landon Donovan. I know a lot of LAFC fans are thrilled that you pushed the Galaxy player down to 3. But I know that he's working right now. I don't know if he's reached out to you because he's busy doing the Euros for Fox, but I would imagine he'd be pretty happy for you. And this is really a guy that it must be amazing to move ahead of, because while Chris Wondolowski's number 1, Landon Donovan really was the league. He was the gold standard here. So I got to imagine knowing and having competitions with him, that has to give this an extra level.
Yes, no, there was never really a competition with LD. To me, he's the best U.S. soccer player to ever play the game. I loved being at Dominguez and watching the Galaxy back in the days and seeing him play. That was one. But even coming into the league and just knowing the kind of person that he was, he went overseas, and this is everything we wanted to do. And when we can see a player like that modeling the things that we want to do, play overseas, play in England, and he's doing everything and coming back into the league and continuously scoring goals and setting records. I mean, it's great, winning championship. So I never really saw myself as a competition saying I'm chasing LD for the record. Yes, it got close, and more friends and family was the ones that was like, wow, you're close to Landon Donovan. And they're also proud to say that name, Landon Donovan. And I felt that way for a while. And I'm not going to lie, actually, last year I did have, because I do have one Landon Donovan jersey. So I did have Landon's jersey in the bag for a number of games. Just, yes. Yeah. Just wishing that I'm scoring a goal and I'm going to honor him and I'm going to put it up, But the good thing is, that goal never came last year. So that jersey had to go back in the box. And, I came over here. But to have the goal now, yes, he's busy. He's doing TV, doing a lot of stuff. I don't expect him to reach out. I'm sure, hopefully, he admires from afar. I've actually spoke to Chris Wondolowski, and, we gave our, each other big hugs because, again, his dreams come true. It's what we wanted. Chico State, Dominguez Hills, CCAA, California boys to really be up top. But then again, LD is a California guy. So I guess good soccer is played in California.
First class with that gesture to do that. And it would have been if
I know I couldn't put it back in the box. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. The equipment manager at Chicago had to send it back to me because I left it there last year. And he's like, "Are you gonna do it?" I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm just gonna put it back in the box now."
By the way, not to be lost, you were waiting to tie him, and then you scored 145, and then you scored 146 in the next game. How many more goals do you think he got in you? Should Wando be a little worried? I know you want to keep playing, and you look like you could keep playing, and you look like you're enjoying it.
Minutes. I'm trying to break the assist record now. That's what I'm doing, If I can
What
keep
is-
balls to Boguš like that, and I'm gonna go for the assist record.
what is it? I mean, what are we looking at there? I mean, what do you need?
I don't know, just continuously trying to help. No, but it's great. It's great, really. And to me, that's what I've said before. Scoring goals is going to come as long as you work to the team's plan and the game plan for the team. You're going to be in the place where you're supposed to be to score the goals. But how can you connect well? And in the past couple of games now, I've had the chance to be on the field with Denis and Maddie, and you can see how we credit each other really well. It doesn't matter who's putting it in, but we're so happy for each other because you can't just put one focus. I got center backs coming to me, opens up spot for somebody else. So that's what it is.
Kai, I want to say that because I got to broadcast the Rapids game, and I'm with Brian Dunseth, and I'm telling him, we spoke to the coaching staff, and Kai's there to get some goals, but he's there for so much more. And then you block a shot, you head a ball away from a corner, and you do it again. So it's so much more, and that's going to get you more minutes. But I want to talk about the hold-up play because, Olivier is going to come here at some point, and he's probably going to claim that. But we could see the kind of thing that he would want to do, but you're doing it so well with Maddie and Bouanga running off you. So we've seen so many different lineups, and we've seen Maddie play as that false nine, for lack of a better expression. We've seen him in the midfield on the wing. But the fact that he scored 5 goals in 2 games, and those are 2 games that you started, I mean, that's no coincidence. And you said it yourself, that's working well. I mean, how has it been with those 2 guys in particular?
It's great. No, it's great. And it's good to have those options, on the team. For me to be in there again, yes, I am a goal threat. So if you're just going to put the focus on the wingers or outside guys, then somebody's in the middle that can also score goals. So you have to pick your battle now. So where is it going to be? So for us, it's continuously keep clicking. So yes, when I'm on the field again, in the beginning, me coming in here, I'm still trying to find how can I contribute, how can I help, and the more I keep connecting with these guys, that's how I'm going to know how I can help. So Maddie, kudos to Maddie. He's played in the midfield, he's played wide, he's played false 9, as you say. But this has given him different perspective as a younger player on the different parts of the fields that he can operate on. And for me, now come in, attract the middle, hold the ball, but don't be surprised. I can still spin and run in like the one I did. You say you did the game. You saw the penalty. That should have been, But when Yuki continues to do that, but again, we're making crosses. Like Denis crossing the ball, I'm not there. Maddie's scoring off diving headers. So it doesn't just have to be me in there. But yes, you talk about Olivier coming in. It's great. That's what this team here has done before. You have options. You have options and options, So whoever is going to be on the field, a lot of respect to somebody like that that's played, for France and many, big teams in Europe, and being able to come here, come to LA and come join us in this locker room. It's something that all the guys are already talking about, and something we really look forward to.
Just a quick thought about Maddie, because he is the flavor of the month, but he's been doing it for a long stretch, and he is the LAFC player of the month. What is it? Because he's scoring goals in so many different ways. What is that thing he has?
So can we revisit the All-Star ballot so we can vote him back into it?
They have to listen. You look at what he's done, and he's played every game, and the numbers. He's an MVP candidate. League MVP, I think. We're talking to Beta, and he says he might be the MVP. It's him and Bouanga. And I go, you would never have said that a month ago.
And the 2 guys on the same team. I think it's good, though, for Maddie, which he's not going to watch this, so which is great. So no one's going to tell him.
We're getting him next week. I'm holding him to it because he's been busy. We're going to get him on this pod.
He just doesn't know what's going on. He's just enjoying what he's doing and playing, which is really beneficial for all of us. I think, he knows, obviously he's making things happen, but, we asked him today, actually, me and Denis were messaging him. We're like, hey, what's the most goals you've scored a season? And right now he's at a season high. We're like, okay, that's good. So we
anywhere. This is the most you scored.
Anywhere, yes. So we're like, yeah, that's good. Then we need to get you more then, and that's good to see. That's coming from the offensive line. It's not saying, okay, you have 3 or you have this. No, it's saying, Maddie, you haven't had more than this before. So great, let's get you more.
Yeah, he's been great. You talk about him. He's such a straight shooter. I've talked about the Polish national team. He goes, I'm not going to comment there. I'm not there. He has my support. And then after the the hat trick, he's talking about Galaxy and getting focused for that. So he just says all the right things, and it's never really about him. And it has to be about him sometimes. But you can see he's a great teammate. You could answer that better than I.
Yeah, no, I saw even Hugo said it at the post game. He's like, he didn't go to Euros, but that's kudos to us. You know, we're happy to have him here, and that's really what it is. His work rate is amazing. You know, he's going to give it his all, like throughout the whole game, and he's so positive. But like you said, the recruiting staff, they do well. You know, player like myself that have been in the league for many, many years, you can see, you know, when things don't go well sometimes. But you know, I have to give credit to, you know, some of the people around here and what they're doing and bringing the right characters, because the characters is going to build team, and that's really what it is. Everybody can play this game. Everybody can kick a ball in the back of the net, but if you're not the right piece of the puzzle, then it doesn't work out.
You were out of contract at Chicago, right? So you were a free agent before signing here?
That's
so
right.
Look, I guarantee you a lot of teams kind of play like LAFC, and they have to be seeing this and they're going, we had a chance to grab this guy.
Well, good for them. Do it.
I like how you got close. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, yes, it's tough. It's tough to go into the off season, you know, moreover like an older player going into the off season, you know, with your family and so much to think about. And blessings for me, again, I get to go back to Sierra Leone in Africa where it's warmer, so I'm training well. But imagine being in the gym and just, you know, doing stuff in snow cities. But it's good that we didn't jump on the first 1-2 phone calls that came on. You know, still being patient, waiting until the right phone call came. And I think it's been good. To me, it's just, I don't know, it's a dream, man. It's a boyhood story of since I was 16. I'm driving with my wife the other day. We're living up somewhere close to Cal Lutheran University. And I go, babe, this is where I went to my summer programs when I was 19. Can you imagine we're all the way back in the same neighborhoods again? And it's just like, so it's perfect to had that phone call back in March to say, you know, can you come here to LA? So it was good.
Brilliant. That's great. You deserve it too, man. You deserve to get it through there. Last question, Thursday, because you are an LA guy, what it means to play at the Rose Bowl. I'm sure you've played there many times, but this, not only a Rose Bowl, but a game with everyone's going to be paying attention. LAFC is in first. Galaxy technically tied for first. LAFC are first because they have one extra win. Man, this has got to be special, certainly for everyone, but particularly for an Angelino.
Yes, and it's funny you said that. I played there. You know, I've been there many times, and that's what most of the guys in the locker room are saying. But I haven't. So for
you
me,
have not played.
Oh, so me too. It's going to be amazing.
This is your first Rose Bowl game.
This will be my first Rose Bowl game.
You've probably been there, watched games.
I've seen not for soccer games. I've been there for an event, growing up here, but not for a soccer game. But I've seen this all the time. Get out of here. I've seen this all the time, and you know, it gives me goosebumps to think about this game and this rivalry that, you know, these two clubs have had over here. To say I'm gonna be part of this game here at the Rose Bowl, and on July 4th. It's gonna be a special one. You know, look forward to it. And sorry about that.
I'm here in the AC and you're outside.
I know. But no, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good, and it's actually the perfect time of the season for both of us. How we've been performing, and to play each other again, and it's gonna be a big one. And I think this is gonna set, you know, who's gonna be top of the West, you know, at the final push of the season.
It's a big game. If you haven't got tickets, get out there. You can see it on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. Make it part of your 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to a great Sierra Leonean. I know I said that wrong. And a great American too, Kai Kamara.
That's right. Happy Independence to everyone, and God bless.
God bless, man. Kai Kamara joining us here inside LAFC. That's all the time we have. We'll be back again to recap the Galaxy and the Dynamo game next week. Make sure you rate, review, download, subscribe. Tell a friend about our podcast. You can get great interviews and find out new things about our players like Kai Kamara. This is Max. We'll see you very soon.